So I just got back from seeing Michael. Not that one. That one. So before I start, let me give like a brief little summary of my history with Michael Jackson. Oh, that's right, there is none. Because I was never really a fan, never really grew up a fan, anything like that. Within probably the past year or so, I started to discover his music more, and that was probably about like 3, 4 songs I kind of had on repeat on randomized shuffle. My biggest memory with Michael Jackson, and you're only gonna hear this here, is a Party City commercial. With this Michael movie, I really wasn't excited for it. I knew it was coming out, and I was more curious, if anything, wanting to see it in a way of, oh, okay, Michael Jackson is a entertainment icon, a GOAT of entertainers, if not the best ever. And they really amplify that in this movie. It's not exactly a life story going from beginning to end, where I've heard a criticism being that this movie doesn't really have much plot. It's more just kind of a life story that you follow, which, yes, I could see that. But I'd also argue it does have a plot where it's Michael trying to escape the grasp of his abusive father, which I always heard about the whole abusive father story, but I never really knew the context of it. But seeing the actual context of it now makes a lot more sense. Now, be warned that there is a couple moments of child abuse in this, and it's a little hard to watch, I will give it that. Starting with the formation of the Jackson 5 and leading into the 30 plus years of the major success of Michael Jackson, who he became. The three main standouts in this movie is Jaafar Jackson, the real life nephew of Michael Jackson. I'm not even sure if that's his nephew, honestly, because are we sure that that's not a clone? Because this guy looks exactly like him. His voice sounds exactly like him. His singing voice sounds exactly like him. It's just obscure. And the second standout being the father, Joseph Jackson, where you kind of forget for a bit sometimes, being that, wait, this is an actor, this is not the actual person. Yes, it did happen, but you're looking at it being like, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot that this isn't exactly the real person, but you're so convinced that it is. And this guy gives off such evil villain vibes, and he's so good at it. The acting from Colman Domingo and the actress that played the mother, Nia Long, were absolutely killer. If anything, these people need to be nominated for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actors. I really hope they do in the Oscars coming up next year, because they so deserve it if so. And his mother was one of the only people that actually treated him like an actual human being, not just a money-making machine like his father did. Another thing about the Oscars coming up next year with this movie is it better get at least nominated for Best Soundtrack, because the songs in this film were just nothing but iconic. Like I said, I don't have much bias towards Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, anyone within that family. I know a couple of the songs due to Guardians of the Galaxy and just kind of knowing music throughout life and hearing a couple, about 3 or 4, maybe 5 Michael Jackson songs. But man, it had me vibing the whole time. I was sitting there just kind of shaking my legs, kind of grooving along with this, just thinking, man, this is great, and just getting lost in the film and just forgetting that I'm watching a film and just thinking that I'm watching the life story of an icon. Now, I did read that the Jackson family had to intervene on this film with the ending of it, to where originally the ending was going to be about of the child sexual abuse allegations, but the Jackson family had it changed to what it became, which was a more positive note, and those were nothing but allegations at that point. Completely understandable. Complete the film on a positive note, and from what they've shown in the film itself with him interacting with kids, he seemed like a genuinely nice guy. Seemed like kids liked him. So hey, no one really knows if it's true or not, but seemed like a good dude to kids. But everything in this film, plot-wise, felt like it flowed very naturally. There was never really any moments where someone like me, I wasn't bored with it, where I'm like I said, I'm not really exactly a fan per se. Is it made for fans? I would say so, but I felt like I learned things along the way also. A lot of the stories I had heard, but I didn't know the context to the story or the aftermath of it. So it was really interesting to see those transpire in the actual movie itself. It got a round of applause from my theater at the end. My theater, myself, my partner, we were all loving it. And for someone like me who, like I've said multiple times at this point, was not a fan, I'm coming out a bit more of a fan of Michael Jackson. I'll give it that, for sure. Listen to a couple of his songs on the ride home. So hey, if I'm giving this movie a grade, I wouldn't say a perfect film, but a solid A for sure. Can't really think of anything bad, ironically, pun intended. I very much enjoyed this. I very highly recommend it if you're a Michael Jackson fan or just want to learn more about the guy like I did. Rumor had it that they were going to divide this film into two parts, and I was kind of guessing that based off the name already. The rumor got confirmation. They put it at the end there of Michael Jackson will return in Avengers Doomsday Deathly Hallows Part 2. Moonwalk onto that like button and stay safe, stay sexy.